Okay, it looks like it's 4 o'clock, so let's go ahead and get started. We'll call the meeting to order. Everybody's sure got the minutes from the previous meeting for Tracy. I wasn't in attendance, obviously, so was there any corrections or additions?
I don't see any. I would make a motion we approve these.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Electrical project update.
Yeah, we got, we have in the budget, and we brought copies of the budget that we can refer to, you know, all throughout this, but a couple of the conversion projects that are listed, and this is about halfway in that budget package, page 10 of 19 is the detail of the capital. It's in that packet there. Those are the line item details, and there should be an electric capital. It's got,
Department of Electric.
that's it. So it's got the 70-60 line,
Yeah.
and then 7100, 7180, 7220, and 7300. KU has come to us in like the last month and said that they're going to convert the Barton Distillery transformer to a higher voltage. And that has a direct impact to our circuits out of what we call the Barton substation. We're going to have to redirect some of these funds from these projects to the south end of town. So it's about the same kind of money, but just in a different spot. And they just sprung that on us as we were starting to work
You
on
haven't
it.
decided then which line item you're going to transfer out of yet?
Right. We'll probably postpone the Bourbon Downs one. The Reardon one was already underway. The upgrade Barton substation money will apply to that as we were going to do it anyway. So we'll keep you posted on that, and we're not going to be able to finish it in this fiscal year anyway, so it'll show up in the new budget,
Do
the
you have an
remainder of it.
idea about what our investment's going to be on top of what?
Yeah, we were gonna revamp the existing structure, and it's so old that KU in the construction of the new station is offering we'll pay them to do it, is to build us a new breaker station. So
Because we've got 75-year mark for that now, but you're saying it's going to exceed.
yeah, I think it's probably gonna get closer to, we already have the breakers, and that's a big part of the expense. It's probably gonna be about a $250,000, $300,000 project for us. And
You
the
got
two,
400,000 in those line items, so you might be able to.
I think we'll be okay, and we're gonna chip away at some of it this year anyway. So that's a new to the game, crystal ball's never that clear, and something comes down the pipe, and it's all related to Barton's expansion.
Yeah.
And they're increasing load, which is gonna overload the substation transformer, so it's just gonna happen. 7180 is the other line item of significance on here. We bid the digger truck. It came in at what,
238.
238, which was higher than what we had budgeted the year before. Just a combination, as I wrote in the memo, of some features that we desired on it over and above maybe our base unit, and the inflation of the cost of the vehicle. Anyway, it's a 330-day delivery, so it's going to get into the next budget anyway. So there's no reason to keep it in this one. It won't arrive in time. And
Last year, I think you had 220.
mhm.
Plus whatever accessories you had.
Well, and it got pulled.
Yeah.
So this year it made it. This will be the 6th year we've put it in our plan. So coming up.
So you think of this probably then scheduled for the.
We're going to recommend it in the next budget
But we need to order it now.
Well,
Don't we? We only got that.
it'll expire in May. So if it's looking like, we'll just ask them to extend their price, or what's their adjustment for an extension to July 1? Because the new budget won't be legit until July 1. if it passes.
So if
So
it's a 330-day delivery, we'll want it in that.
we're gonna wanna order it immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, in July.
Yeah.
If it holds up in the budget, we need to order it right away. So I think it's in their interest to hold the price one more month. Jeff, did you have anything else in electric to
Just,
discuss?
there's just various projects, we're busy, a lot of the bourbon is increasing, so we've done some underground and over here at New One and Kelly, Kentucky Line of Spirits and revamping that whole line over there, on the transformer
They
line.
started anything on the inside of the building?
They're just now getting to the water part of it, and so since they're doing that, they need another bank for ways to run the pumps, so we're doing that right now. We've got, just Denny Pack getting ready to open up out there on Wilson Industrial Parkway, so we got a transformer to set there. We just finished up Smith Brothers, so we got to order some transformers. And, we're kind of waiting on some of this other stuff, so probably in the May council meeting, I don't know, that we'll have a bid packet of some transformers.
Okay. That comes out of that miscellaneous upgrade line.
Okay, is that everything on the electrical building?
Pretty much, just a little update on the automated meter reading project. We bid that last May and the labor of it, and we'd had the meters on order ahead of that. So we had Vanguard from Owensboro come and do the majority of the meters, the swap outs of meters. We had to handle some of the tougher ones or things that needed some repair, the meter base needed to be repaired. But anyway, it took a little longer than we thought, but it came in under budget on labor and right on the budget for the materials. And we went live with it for November's billing. We read all of the electric meters.
So everybody's been switched out?
Mhm.
That's good.
All right, so both dashboards show 100% of the meters that are installed are communicating, and they collect readings every hour and transmit them up to the server. So we basically are reading, what it took a crew of meter readers to do a month is happening every hour. And we can pull all kinds of data from that in terms of from checking the.
So we've showed up several people's doors and done some work, they want to know what we're doing.
Well, you
We found something.
You can remotely turn them off and on too.
In some cases, where those meters.
That's also commercial purposes maybe.
Right, where those meters are installed, we did not put those everywhere.
Yeah,
Just mostly tenant type of
right.
units that have a high turnover, so. So that project is maturing now, and our new normal is kind of switched to maintenance, keeping it running and focusing on enhancing the water part of it. We read the water meters as well, so we get leak tamper information. They call them tampers, but it's just a leak indicator that a meter's run continuously for 24 hours. It'll flag it, and we can reach out to that customer and tell them,
My house.
You have a leak.
Right now, I've got one.
so, if Crystal hasn't called you, she'll be reaching out to you. So, there's a lot of tertiary kind of benefits that come from a system like that. Not just, what do you save in meter reading? Cable internet projects update, I guess, is next. If that's all for electric, any questions? Anybody?
No, I'm good.
You ready for that one?
Moving on.
I'm gonna pass out those prints. Did Mr. Skeeto come today?
He's here.
Hi there.
How are you?
I'm Jeff Mills. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I hear you're interested in getting service at your house.
We would like it.
These aren't in any particular, they're not in a ranked order, are they?
Yes, they're ranked based on the ranking that's in the packet also.
Oh, okay. Well, know, you might not be not too happy with this number. I thought it was just a random number, but those are areas that we're analyzed and had designed. Judge Watts had asked us some time ago, around the time that we started doing fiber to the home in 2009. That was a spin-off of getting fiber to the New Haven school. And the customer down there in trade for access in late '08. In fact, I think you signed the letter for the fellow,
Yeah.
who was that? Yeah, Mr. Gadd.
Yeah.
He said, you got a year to get me service, or we agreed to pay him, I don't know, $4,000 or something for an easement. So that caused us to dig into what kind of architecture that would take and technology to use, and that was our first foray into fiber to the home. At that time, we were building to 20 homes per mile using regular traditional coaxial cable. We had exhausted the last of those two builds on Bloomfield Road and Murray's Run Road. Beyond that, we were gonna have to rely solely on the rural extension policy at the costs that we were spending for traditional plant per passing, which worked out to about $1,300 a passing. We brought that back to the council once we were comfortable with our fiber to the home architecture, and found out that we could reach way beyond 20 homes a mile at $1,300 expended per passing. So where's the analysis rates?
It's towards the bottom of the packet.
Before we could rank everything, we had to design everything. And once it was designed, we were able to cost it out, build a budgetary price per project or per area, and then even subsets of those areas. You know, like let's say it had an east and a west direction out of where the optical receiver would go, the main thing that gets everything started in that area. So we bought maps from Salt River. It took a while to get them to agree to even sell them to us, but we bought the maps from Salt River so we'd have all of Nelson County, our entire service coverage area, including your street. We took the number of homes in each sub-build and applied the cost to construct that area. Very simple, just divide the cost per passing, and if it was under $1,300, we'd put it in the budget. And it's easy to filter that and sort it to obtain a priority, a ranking priority. So I do understand that there's been they had an auction or something, they've subdivided that maybe since
There's
this analysis.
probably 40 homes in the last year, and there's another 3 going to start.
Okay, well, that helps, because I mean, it's the simple math of the cost of the build isn't any different.
Right.
And the more homes that are in there,
Sure.
it bumps it up.
Where is Tool posted?
Pardon, Leslie, off of Boston Road.
Okay.
It's in this little spot right here.
Okay.
So, based on the time they did the analysis, wherever they are, they're down here at 1651 with the 14 homes, right? Across the cost of the build. Did you say it's at 17 now?
It's at 17, and it should be within some groundbreaking on 3 more, so.
Well, two things happen with this ranking thing. One is once we kind of fill up our capital budget allocation, which is sort of fluid, as you know, for the budget process. How much can we spend on expenditures any one year? What's our 730 line item in internet this year?
Probably under 450.
$450,000. You know, so we try to pick the best projects and get them in there until we run out of money. And if we start to look like there's a fairly good size
You want to
bill.
get the most customers you can.
Right.
450, I mean, it just makes sense.
Right. The most lucrative bills. But like some of the jobs, we're starting to run out of those. Some of the jobs were so big as a combined area, we had to cut them in half and take the better part of that one, as long as it didn't strand the others, and drive their costs over 1,300 a passing. So, there are those chunks of that, like that Bellwood Road job, right down here. This one is, number,
It's 1,461 passing right now.
right, the remaining part, and it was worse than that because, the county helped fund some construction towards the sawmill. So that got a lot better for them. Your ranking's gonna change significantly.
Yeah, if you get to 18, you're under that 1,300.
Right.
First check it.
Plum Run, Wilkerson.
1283 at 18.
Mhm.
That's the way I got it figured.
And the more the better. So, and it's not a budget killer, is what I'm saying. It's one of the jobs that we can afford. You know, at 23,000, it's one of the, it's not like
You're
the,
at 17 now?
Yes.
okay. Mike, did you get a chance to ride out there today? So, I don't know, is there a plat of that? Because we need to make sure that we've got enough taps.
I think there's gonna be a boatload of houses in there unless multiple people bought them. One person bought multiple tracks.
We bought quite a bit, so we don't want too many people back there, but,
But that's how that
There-
is the number.
well, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
I need to know what that
I sell it.
I need to build another house.
Yeah.
There was
Seen
a
a lot of
couple
them.
large farms that have recently sold, and then at least one or two more that are getting ready to sell.
I
So,
know it's the Leslie farm down there and the Sorrel farm down there.
yeah, we bought a good chunk of Sorrel Farm, and then the Leslie Farm's getting ready to do something. Somebody's already building on one of those tracks, so.
Well, that's good news, and that, we try to go by this, and, it seems like every year we've got projects that hit a snag somewhere, or kind of, just because it gets in the budget, you know, it's on our radar, it's next, and we take them in order. We still have the ones that we're cleaning up, like Irish Ridge Road is active now, right?
So if
And,
they were to get into that number within that thing, they could be in next year's budget possibly?
Yeah.
Or next year's projects?
yes, it sounds like it now, so,
And we are, well, I run my business from my home, so we are desperately need internet. But we're willing, if that area falls short of the budget number, we discussed, I don't know if this is a possibility, we can help make up the difference. If
we have a mechanism for that, and the rural extension policy I mentioned, that we built around some requests on Ben Irvin Road back in the day, in 1992, where I think our number for passing back then was $875. In exchange for a 5-year contract and a deposit, we would build $875 worth of plant per participant, and then they would fund the balance directly. What it doesn't have in it that Larry never liked, my supervisor, it doesn't have a refunding mechanism in it. So if you have 10 people and the bill's $10,000, and it's $1,000 each, and say only 6 of them want to participate, they've got to fund the whole 10,000 of extra, and then we don't track that. It's
And
just,
then some new people sign on.
we charge them what we would have charged them anyway. But we
Yeah.
don't have a refunding mechanism there,
The
so it's.
original 6 still paid that premium.
Right, right. So we built that in there to remove the incentive
This
to
makes
hold
it-
back.
They got 17, you're really close.
I think it's gonna make the budget number, especially if there's a couple others that are slated for construction. It's in.
Yeah, we're gonna build another one.
Mhm. It's just how far up the chain do you get there? So, the top builds that look like for next budget are the Plum Run Road, Wilkerson Road. Did you get that up?
Yeah, my machine's put in there.
Mhm.
My, the Wi-Fi is.
You know it's coming to this point.
Yes.
We got some,
I'm-
David Evans over at the GIS has helped us build some wonderful analysis, visual analysis tools. This is where this map came from. We had the electronic version of that, and we can just encapsulate what he could tell. He told us how many homes were in each polygon, just ran the report. It's tied to whatever you draw, it'll extract the 911 address point data straight away. So we have some requests up north of Chaplin that, there's 1066, so there's some density right in here that, this was one of the next builds after Nelsonville that we did, so we focused on what had been previously served by Time Warner when we bought the defunct plant from them. And knowing that that was the first priority in that area was to get that back up and running. And there was, like any other build, there was some density going on that we just didn't have the mapping data for. So the analysis of that is overdue, but there should be another polygon up in here. And who knows where they're gonna fall in the ranking, but we'll get calls from folks all over. Currently working on Hurricane Hills. That's from this current budget. And the 55 Stringtown Road mod area. Some of the good density in Washington County, which is in our franchise from the Berg. And Irish Ridge Road. That will wrap up this fiscal year.
Okay. So then most of these on this list have not actually been started.
No, these are proposed, these are candidates to go in future budget.
Be worked into that budget number.
The one Tracy wants, like right now. So she's like, give me your budget. All right,
Video on demand.
yeah. Did you guys have anything else, project-wise, bid-wise? Video on demand, that's kind of a holdover from the last agenda. I just, we launched it last February of 16. We are selling about, between special events and movies, about $1,000 a month of that, of which we get half. So it's growing, and I was pleasantly surprised that it was overdue for us to build that. A little expensive, but we're tracking what we're making on it, and you consider it a cross between a value add and a loss leader. So, but it's well received. I saw one of the doctors in Montessori that I knew. He'd left us. He said, "Oh, we got a dish. I wanted some video on demand," and I was teasing him. I said, "Yeah, we were waiting until you left, and then we lost it. But we have it now. They need to sign back up." So I think it was a good move on the city's part to launch that. We talked about the digger truck. We got out of order there. Did you have any questions or concerns about the digger?
No, I read all the minutes from last year's meeting, so I'm kind of up to date
Okay.
on that. And it might have been around last time I was around.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yes. Well, in terms of budget, Tracy Hudson emailed us today, again reminding us to get that tour, which then gets presented to the mayor, and the mayor would leave or add or strike things as he sees fit, as you know, and then compiles a budget to present to the council, the mayor's budget. So the format will look a lot like this year's, with us explaining our capital expenditure requests. Tracy said, I don't really need the line item detail, which is a couple of pages back, as thorough as, it's more of a tool for us to know what all's in there. She doesn't intend to publish that part, but we'll still have our little, what makes up the number in each one of those key line items, particularly for these technical departments. 532 is a big one for all three of them. That's where our supplies come from that are under $10,000, and we don't buy a lot of supplies that one thing is over $10,000, like a spectrum analyzer, or what other tool?
But that's helpful to have that detail, because if you gotta come in and start.
Now, the capital detail for sure.
Making some cuts, you can at least look at certain ones and you can say, this one we definitely need to keep, this one we can't keep.
Right, right. A key one in the cable department, coming up this year is a replacement bucket truck. And did you guys have any feel for a budget number?
93 years. Maybe the last one was 96.
So it's a-
2 years ago.
It's a $100,000 vehicle, for the cable department. And, it's the last one, or the current one we're talking about replacing is
06.
an '06 unit. How many miles?
160-ish. Yeah, 150, 835.
And it's on our radar because,
Maintenance. Eaton's level maintenance.
Is that like one of those 1 tons or
One
450
ton.
series size bucket trucks?
One ton, 6.0 diesel, had a lot of trouble out of it.
Oh, yeah, I'm surprised it's still here.
We spent some money on it.
we were going to, last year about this time, we were using sweep contractors, or the alignment contractors to tune up the system. They would literally sweep through a node, amp by amp, working from the node to the endpoint, and fine tuning all of the electronics and making sure they were up to snuff and taking pictures and reporting those back to us. And you may have remembered from your time here before that that was sort of a point of contention with a couple of council members that said, why don't we do that in-house ourselves? Well, we contended then, and it's still maybe somewhat believed, that it was cheaper, bang for the buck in terms of those guys would come in here, they weren't here around the clock, year round. We were paying them 12 cents a foot, which was the same price we were paying in 1999 when Cable Engineering was doing it for us. So we were really pleased with the price, but there was always that, we should be doing that ourselves, reduce our reliance on contractors. But the contractors, the first thing you can turn off if things slow down. We don't have to have them. And if we overstaff ourselves, then we risk getting buried in overhead, or maybe even having to consider laying somebody off if things slow down. So I think we kind of split the difference and we said, look, there's no way, I would feel good about recommending to the city of Bardstown that we staff ourselves to the level that we can do all of our construction and this alignment project.
I would think most cable and electric companies are subbing their contracting out.
Most of them are. The sweep in-house has had some added benefits of quality control. Our own people are doing it. So we proposed hiring some entry-level installers that would allow the technical staff to take on some of that chore. Actually, Jeff Bariza's job description is sweep tech. So he's been solely dedicated to that function, and as we evolve, we can add more of the technical staff as they develop towards that same function.
The sweep tech needs its own bucket, so.
That's why we didn't sell the old bucket.
Yeah.
So, that put the third bucket on the road, but it's sorely needing to be replaced. So that's a long version of why the truck's back on our radar.
As the digger truck, I saw in the minutes where last year, 13,000 has been spent on it recently, back then.
Yeah, we had to.
Has it been a lot more spent on since then?
No.
In pretty good shape?
We put the turret on it and
Yeah, so
the brakes and the clutch and.
big bucket's going in now.
Yeah.
It's down, so I'm gonna get in there tomorrow.
But it's not in any immediate danger of needing to be replaced
No, but it was the next item coming up on this.
on the 5-year plan.
Yeah, it's so.
This is an interesting tool. I want to digress back to this if you don't mind, just briefly. You doing all right on time? Before five? Yeah. And the other reason I mentioned meeting, that we got to watch out when we meet here is if there are the 3 committee members and then one more council member arrives early for the 5 o'clock meeting, that makes a quorum. So I haven't run that by Madam Clerk yet.
I think they can't participate in the meeting.
Okay.
I think it's okay for.
They can
another
listen
member
in.
to be here as long as they're not
Okay,
actively.
good deal. I feel better about that. All right, good.
I got
So-
nobody here today.
let's go up to Chaplin, in this area we were talking about. Go to the intersection of 1066 and 458. Go ahead and turn on the layer existing cable customers. The red dots are people that already have service from us today. So it's sort of an indicator of where our plant is. Well, I can tell you at that crossroads there of Chaplin Taylorsville Road and 1066, that's not served. And there's somebody that's called you a lot, Eric, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to name him. But there's a gentleman who's, sure, we've told him 3 years running that we're building it, and we don't even have it designed. So he may rank very well, and I'm gonna feel really bad if it turns out to be the case. But if you just draw a polygon around that group of the denser homes, and double click it and you can get, there's 56 address points in there. That's pretty significant. And most of them are adjacent to the road, which is, if all things were equal, if you had the same 56, but they were hundreds of feet off of the road, that would tip the balance of which one would be the priority build. But, so there's 56 houses unserved and a couple more, and we didn't even grab on the way on 458. That I'm just guessing that's gonna be a significantly lucrative build for us. I say lucrative, but I mean, it'll meet the criteria well. Now, the trick is, I zoom out just a hair,
That's a blend down there in Chapel.
So, there's quite a bit of density in that whole northeastern area of Nelson County that we've got to, and then if we ever were to obtain a franchise from Spencer County, show those folks just up by the lake that are now across the county line, up in this zone we're looking at.
Oh,
I don't know why Nelson County E911 has data for folks there, but we don't know what the density is across the county line. But it could be worth, for planning purposes, not say, to not plan on serving them in the future. We should at least consider it. To your other point, Eric, back towards where you were headed, we've got some Nelson Countyans that are stranded. You can pass them. Come on, back towards, yeah, there you go. If you grab that bunch, there's a little subdivision on High Grove Road. And it's easy pickings, and
It's right across, there's like a creek runs
Yeah.
through there. It's right on the-
yeah, so there's 15 of those folks that are boxed out because the plant comes through Spencer County on High Grove Road, and that's very dense. I mean, there's like 80 homes in there. But we would need a franchise from the Spencer County Fiscal Court. So since we have,
Oh, okay, because those houses line Spencer there, these are Nelson.
well, they're all Nelson County folks, even, I guess,
I guess that line goes just right.
yeah, they trade tracks according to the PVA office. I didn't know that. And so you could officially be a Nelson County taxpayer and live in Spencer County. That blows my mind, but we ran into that at High Grove where we had to figure out where to chop off the build. Because we're not allowed to serve somebody in another county without a franchise. So we use this tool. It's a wonderful tool David built for us, and it's better than the old days where we used to get Larry Hamlin's old gray station wagon and drive down the road counting mailboxes by yourself. That's kind of scary. On the back of my checking account deposit slips, they made good tables, So anywhere I was driving, I haven't counted this road yet. So.
And I think you've got some more people up here on this, across the Polk County line.
Yeah, go to, there's a Deerwood or something, or what's left of Deerwood after the road goes through it. But it's still a viable subdivision there. And I believe it's designed. just because while we were doing the High Grove area, we knew that was there, so we accounted for it, so we didn't box ourselves out.
Yeah, but we definitely need to take care of Nelson first.
Right, so that year's down the road, but, I mean, once these folks are poor folks on Powder Shop North, that 2,100 a passing, that's 16 people that are gonna have to find a way to fund $700 each, you know? A consensus, I've never had a multiple person build where I got consensus, ever. And we have to have the permission of everyone involved across. So if somebody's hostile at the beginning of the project, it torpedoes it, unless we go around them underground, say in the road right away, and that jacks the cost way up. And then it just kind of can snowball from there, so they're really tough to fund when you got multiple parties involved, and even if I guess if Dustin McCoy wanted to help fund a piece of Hudson's Lane, and that he had to wait. I mean, it made it, and in terms of the ranking, it fell in as a viable build, and we were able to get there. And he says, "I'll pay the difference." I said, "Mr. McCoy, you shouldn't have to pay for something that otherwise is eventually going to get built, and we don't have a refund mechanism to take care of it."
So this year, so it got qualified
Fine.
anyway.
So I met him at the airport the other day. Mike Forsey introduced me. He says, "Oh, you're that Jeff Mills?" Yeah, so.
Andy, any other questions of them? Looks like we're closer than I thought when we first started.
Newton More Homes changes everything. So in fact, go back to the icon, Tool Creek. And that polygon. And what's in there? Yeah. $17.
There we go.
Awesome.
There we go.
All righty.
So, and there would be 3 within the next year or so. I know 2 of them probably brought some.
17,
They're under construction.
Well, they, you know,
$1,559.
the houses haven't started, but the land's
18 gets
been cleared and working on it. Yeah.
That does go to you or the budget.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Good deal. All right.
Very good.
That helps.
It helps a lot.
Yeah, especially just, you know, because I mean, you can see the scope of
Right,
trying to keep track of all this activity,
right, I sure.
and we can easily miss something.
Okay.
So,
Well, just keep in mind, we're interested if you're at that point of the budget where, you know, we're not interested, but maybe some extra funds will help. You know, with our business, we're paying about $400 a month for internet at my house to run
wow.
the business. So
What are you using?
We're using mostly data from Verizon off the Bluegrass Tower, so
Okay.
we're going through.
So you got one of their little MiFis, the Bluegrass Cellular MiFi?
We've got, well,
Verizon's?
right now, they're all working on the phones, so we can hotspot off the phones and things, so
Yeah.
it's pricey.
We'll see what we can do.
So, okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Is that it?
That's about all I have. Yeah.
Just from my notes, I was just gonna ask a couple
Okay,
questions.
sure.
Someone was talking about the new city website last year. I think it was in the May meeting.
Mhm.
Did we get anything done on that?
Hannah is working with a company that Nahom and Jessica picked out, Revise.
I'm not sure.
So she just sent an email, I forwarded the email she sent out to everybody. And I didn't know, was there anything in particular, I've kind of, to be honest, up to that point, had forgotten it was in the minutes. And just sort of a desire to crank on it. Was there something in particular that's
Well, I
kind
thought
of?
if it was needed back last May,
Mhm.
it definitely ought to be done.
Yeah, well, we made some refinements to the website.
I didn't know if you had or not, I just saw it in there.
I don't know if it's,
I just know we're constantly upgrading
Yeah.
our sites.
forward that to.
We're constantly upgrading. We have 3 websites and we're having,
If you do a whole lot of more interactive, your inventories on there, and Yeah, I can imagine.
Just Dee Heaton, I don't have you, so.
Councilman Eaton, the Parks and Cable.
Cool.
So I was just asking for what
Okay.
that was. And,
So the good news is that's under the talented, watchful eye of Hannah. Once you read this past mastering, she's put us on. But I think there was some functional features that Jessica was trying to incorporate into public communication, public outreach, and I'm not really sure.
And then the after hours call center, that works pretty well. Is that ISP net?
Yeah, where is Nahum?
Here,
Here they go.
Does that work pretty well?
So far, yeah, I mean, it took some getting used to, but they do make, I mean, so after 8 o'clock, or if our folks are overwhelmed, it rolls over to these folks. They get to talk to a human who has access to a lot of our data, not all of our data, and can call standby. They document it with an e-ticket, and every day we get a daily escalation follow-up to go through those. So they can't act, from Kansas, they can't roll a truck and go work on it, but
they try and do some remote troubleshooting, just like our techs, check if everything's tight, signal quality, and try and do some basic troubleshooting like our IT staff does to prevent rolling a truck.
But if somebody's provisioned or bought a new modem and needs their serial number provisioned, we have to do that. They don't
Yeah, we used to
have
have somebody at night that's on call that takes those calls.
until 8, and then it's
It's for
just
some of these people.
right. And so really, I don't know, are those guys up to provisioning modems? The cable standby staff's the only standby staff we have. So if it gets too far into the IT part, they just have to wait till the next morning. So far, so good. We probably, in the internet department's budget, you'll see a request for transitioning a part-time position to a full-time position, just growth.
Which department?
Internet, yeah, for that very help desk there. Currently, there are 2 full-timers and the rest are part-timers. We're proposing to go to 3 full-time staff at that help desk.
Okay.
The street department, it's not really our budget, but we help them. We have the decorative lights on West Stephen Foster. We're ordering those poles and those, we recommend using the coach fixture that's in Edgewood and Wellington.
Are some of those, I met with a lady for an hour and a half, sorry on that.
Oh, yes.
So,
She was in my wedding.
So, we're having to get new poles for those, or were they some that came out when we did the renovation downtown?
These are a shorter post light, and the ones from the renovation downtown are for a big Cobra
The
head.
black poles with coach lights on it. So that's on West Stephen Foster, and they, I guess, where's it stop now, where's it gonna go?
We don't have any, we've got a couple of them on South Elm Grove,
Yeah.
and then the Housing Authority uses that same fixture in and around Center and Broadway. But this would blend with that. We don't really have any lights from 5th Street or 4th Street even,
Yeah.
of that nature.
West, there isn't.
So we propose to bring these back into town and stop short of the church. Stop, just maybe right at by Jones Avenue. It'd be like the last one. It sort of would set that
Populate
area off.
that residential and commercial area, 2 or 3 block area from,
Right.
say,
Just on
Jones Avenue going west. is what
Right,
it's talking
right.
about. On Stephen Foster.
Right, on the south right-of-way line. On the north right-of-way line, because the existing lights on the wooden poles on the opposite side of the street are sufficient for
Yeah,
lighting
'cause on
that,
the
so.
south side didn't look like there's any lights much.
It's,
But they're all on the wooden poles,
it's an overhead.
and they're at every intersection mid-block.
Yeah,
And so we changed all them last year.
Intersection of
South Kennett, or.
From Martin Road,
Elm Grove
basically.
Center and.
Center.
I didn't think I saw them like.
Yeah, they're up on the wooden poles, and we just changed them to LEDs.
Okay.
so they don't have the big globe that sticks down, so
They're smooth lights.
when you don't, when you're driving down the road, these cutoff fixtures that like Mike Zoller pounds with.
That'd be a nice improvement though, in that corridor.
Right.
And so Maple Hill, we've got all but 2 lights done. And we got new poles and new fixtures for those, and they're the fiberglass black poles.
With this same Cobra head on it.
Yeah.
And that project's been done for some time. It's what's left to do are these decorative ones, about right behind the sidewalk is my plan.
Right.
And basically interspacing them between the Cobra headlights on the opposite side of the street.
So it'd be on both sides?
I was just planning on one side for now, and then maybe
South side or north side?
north side, where there are no poles today.
Yeah.
So the post office, we've got it mapped out in these strategic spots where there are grass areas.
You don't need to be redundant, and you got lights on the south side and
Right.
none on the north side. Yeah.
Right, and so it's
That's what
gonna,
you got on East Stephen Foster. You got lights on the
just
north
one side, right.
Not on the south side.
Yeah, the home kind of played a role in,
That's right.
they run us off. They didn't want anything over there, so the state said, we're going over here.
Speaking of that though, do some of those lights work off a sensor? Because some people were telling me they thought when the people are driving west, if the lights from the cars hit some of those lights and
Knock out,
They're
it's
back,
possible.
they're back far enough to.
why are they telling me that they might be?
Well, there's one eye that might be getting light pollution in it. Do you remember which end of the
It's
project?
up near like Brown CPA,
Okay.
some of those decorative lights through there, they say they're going off at night.
They might be
We'll check
just
it.
coming to the end of their life.
I don't know, it's not turned before there.
So I did that, I've noticed several spots in my travels at night when I said, oh, that light just went
More
on.
attention to it, because sometimes I go down to
Mhm.
Silver and hang it left and go in that way. When it's back away from my house.
We re-
All the
redid those.
Guthrie, all the Demery, all them's got the new LED lights up out there, so you ought to see what they look like real good. But then in the coach fixture, over there at Morton behind the Mexican place in that street, those are coach fixture LEDs.
Where's that?
Behind La Herradura
Yeah.
on that street, those,
That American Revolution.
so they're LED.
Same one that we'd be using on West End Boston.
You see how some of those in these older neighborhoods are not LED.
Right, and when they die, we change them up to an LED.
Some of those places.
Right.
Yeah, well, just as they die, they finally have cheapened up that, and the others have gone up that it's almost a wash to do the LEDs now. And then they save on the electric part of it, so.
So that,
Check it out there if you would. on
Okay,
the-
we'll check that out.
Because some people were telling me there's a couple of those lights that are,
They're coming and
they
going.
think they go out because of the sensor.
Well, it's a photo cell, and if a car's lights, with the grade gets right in it, it'll shut her off, and then it takes the lights about 20 minutes to
That's what
fire
they're
back
saying,
up.
is they're going traveling west, they
Mhm.
think those lights, because they're a little bit higher than the car.
Mhm. But they're all controlled by one eye somewhere. There's a master eye that runs them all.
There's one up there at the motel, and then there's another one up there at Tootie Dick's. There's 3 of them, so.
Three
And
photo
they're
cells run all the way.
back off the main drag.
We'll
Like
check
back
it.
there at Brown's.
So there's not a eye on every light.
Okay.
But we'll check it. It's possible that another car, while they're driving by, they think their car did that light, but the car behind them got the main sensor knocked out the whole section.
No, that's just because it's on a photo cell, and that light triggers the photo cell to go off.
Right. Yeah,
All right.
that's all I had.
I'll make a motion we adjourn.
All educated now. Educated.
Anyone second the motion?
I'll second.
All in favor?
All right,
Thank you, guys.
thank you. I wish,